right. Hello and welcome. We'll take a quick look at the comments to make sure that my audio is working here. Somebody sing out if you can't hear me. Welcome to Ramblestream episode number 57 with me, your host, Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. If this is your first time to the Ramblestream, welcome. We encourage you to post up a comment. The whole goal of this is there are pitfalls and there are blessings to the internet and to online, as they say. And the pitfall is that, for the most part, it separates us from each other and makes us sit on our phone rather than going out and meeting people and doing things. However, it does have some benefits, which are that we can gather around together and sip on libations and, I get to talk, to blather and ramble, but we get to hang out together. And one of the things that helps to make this more communal time and activity is, at least in this format, to comment in the whether I am actually broadcasting today to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So I don't know if LinkedIn comments come through to this or not. But regardless, post up a comment. It doesn't have to be something super intelligent. It doesn't have to be something even apropos. All it needs to be is, we even have a template. We have a format for you. And I will start. The format that we've worked out here is that tell us who you are. And that doesn't have to be your real name. It can be your real name, or it can be your online handle, as some of you use. Tell us where you're viewing the broadcast from, and tell us what you have in your stable, shall we say. What are you riding? What are you driving? If you happen to have a motorcycle, tell us what kind of motorcycle it is. If you happen to have a Janus motorcycle, tell us what model and what the serial number is. If you don't have a Janus motorcycle, that's okay. If you don't have a motorcycle, that's okay too. Tell us how you get about, even if it's only on your own two legs. That's rambling too. And last but not least, tell us what you happen to be sipping on this evening. So I'll go ahead and get started. I've already told you my name, Richard Worsham, here, Janus Motorcycles. I'm in Goshen, Indiana. I'm at our fabrication shop, which is about a mile or so south of our main headquarters in downtown Goshen. I ride whatever I can get my hands on, including a KLR 650. It's a Gen 2 09, and Halcyon 250, number 68, cream and gold, rather beat up little 250 that I've had many adventures on. And this evening, I'm drinking, as they say, a friend of the pod, a friend of the stream, Evan Williams, with a little water mixed in. So some good classic Kentucky bourbon. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, fellow ramblers. It's been a bit rainy today, but it's been balmy, it's been warm. So good weather for some fall rambling if you can dodge the rain clouds. Tell us if you've been on a good ride. So we got started there. Let's take a look at some comments. Oh, I should just go ahead and say that the last couple of Ramble streams we've had guests on, and some of them really know how to ramble. So they've gone over time a little bit. I do think it's nice to keep this to around an hour if we can. And my goal is to keep this to an hour or less, because the last couple have been kind of long. So this will be a simple one. I have been very, 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 very busy I always say that, but this last week has been pretty exhausting. And so I haven't had much time last week, or today to put much preparation into this. I will say the only preparation I really did was I went to the bookstore. And was it Friday? Yes, Friday. Downtown we have a nice bookstore called Fables, used, or new and used. Used? This is used. W.H. Auden and W.A. Auden, and it's W.H. Auden. There we go. He's some of my favorite, and I've selected one, and that's the preparation I did. So before we get to the poem, though, which is a really good one, and not too long, let's take a look at some comments and see. We'll focus a little bit more on you all. Like the last couple of Ramble streams have been talking so much that we didn't even really get to truly cover the comments in the way that we like to do. So first up in the list is Confetti Yank. Cheers, North Carolina, Central North Carolina, 100th anniversary of Road King, sipping strawberry Fanta. Nice. There he is. Next up, we have Bob Benstead out in Sturgis, South Dakota, sipping on some orange juice. Good to see you, Bob. Hope all is well out there. How's the weather in South Dakota? Grant Longenbaugh, our own Grant, is on. He's got a Griffin #1 and Phoenix #1. Wow, I forgot he's got some very special numbers there. He's in Goshen, Indiana, sipping some Liquid Death. Liquid Death. Remember to put the comments up. Kyle Stevenson from Fort Wayne, Indiana, just down the road. He's the host of the Rider Rot Motorcycle Show. I was going through my closet this weekend and cleaned my closet. That's how stressful a week it was. And I found a bunch of old vintage Rider Rot Motorcycle Show t-shirts, so I was thinking of you. He's sipping on a 3 Floyds and dreaming of riding my Honda XR200R soon. Nice. Good to see you. Tom Lathrop. How you like that for pronunciation, Tom? Greetings from Burlington, Wisconsin. Halcyon 250 number 1008. Griffin 250 number 149. Sipping on lemon seltzer water. Nice. Good to see you, Tom. Arthur Nordby. Hey all, back in Quinlan, Texas. 250 1039. Soon we'll have a Griffin 250 159. Sipping on a White Claw. Nice. Wait, that's me. Lo-Fi by Nature. One of our more recent Janus owners. I had the pleasure of meeting him last week when he picked up his lovely Janus. He has 250 number 1131. He's from Southwest Michigan. He wrote it back in a sort of chilly and drizzly. Was it a wet ride back? I don't know. I hope not. He's sipping some red tea with honey. Wishing you many, many miles of enjoyment on your new Janus motorcycle. Dan Rodemski, 450, number 235, Joplin, sipping on a vanilla porter. Just bought a Honda 660 3-cylinder pickup truck yesterday. Nice. 4-wheel drive for emergencies in the mountains. What kind of truck? Wait, what's the model? Very cool. Congrats, Dan. Charles McGagan's on. Hello from the Maryland Eastern Shore. Halcyon 250 number 454. Phoenix number 30. Griffin 450 number 4 for Christmas. Probably. And drinking oolong. I brought back a lot of good oolong from China and Taiwan on my recent trip. Different kinds. And I also, I should do that. I should make tea for a Ramblestream. It's a brilliant idea. I was gifted by our dear supplier over there, wheel supplier, David, gave me a teapot and teacups, the tiny Chinese teapot and cups. So I've been making tea with my family and having a lot of fun. I learned how to make real Chinese tea while I was over there. It was a wonderful experience. And they love their oolong. Riggedy Alps from Chile, Massachusetts, 450 number 234, Cheyenne, and 95th anniversary Wide Glide Spirit, sipping Sugarland's Shine tonight in front of the fire. Good to see you, man. Mick Langford in Winchester, Virginia is on. Halcyon 250 number 1093, Hank. Keith Haywood, No Name Halcyon number 706 in New York, drinking Cabernet Sauvignon. I have a couple of Triumphs for other than Ramblin'. Nice. Although I think a Triumph you can ramble on too, right? You can ramble on all kinds of things. It's just that a Janus is designed specifically for rambling. Lo-Fi by Nature says, Dan, is that one of those mini trucks? It sounds like it if it's 660 cc. Kristen B, support made. Well, if you're supporting the Ramblestream, thank you. Semtech 57. Hi all, John from SoCal with Halcyon 250 number 1148 checking in. Just water today. Hope everyone's well. I hope you're well as well, John. Good to see you on the stream. Felix Brothers, 120 and 121, West Michigan, sipping some long drinks and eating some weird beef stew. You got me. That's an inside joke. I cannot share. They were down on Friday. They dropped off one of their bikes for some maintenance, and I got to hang out with them for drinks at our local cocktail bar, Common Spirits, and we shared some funny stories from Halloween. Good to see you guys. I hope your trip back was fun. John Garrance, greetings all. Patiently waiting delivery of Halcyon 450 number 356 in Southeast Kansas. Jamie Mean Coke. Cheers. Good to see you, man. Gary Smith. Hi from East Lansing, Michigan. Halcyon 50 number 11, 250 number 79, 450 number 3, Phoenix 250 number 79, 1972 Triumph Trident, 1980 Honda CM200, 1990 HD 883 Sportster, Urals 2015 Tourist, and 2017 Gear Up, sipping on a Diet Dr. Pepper. Good to see you, Gary. Wonderful to see you. N8 RAB is on. Yo. Good to see you, man. Lo-Fi by Nature says sound is good. Thank you very much. I forgot to check. Glad the sound is working because I didn't check. Yeah, I really should do a better job of this. Yeah, we lucked out, I guess. Dan Redempsky says yes to the mini truck. Yes, right-hand drive. Awesome. Oh man, if I had a couple extra $1,000, I'd be getting one of those little K trucks and zooming around in it all the time. That sounds fantastic. A lot of fun. David Hyde says, David Hyde in Patterson, New York, still enjoying RI. Rhode Island, I assume? No, what is RI? David Hyde. Rye? Dave Bowen's on sunny evening in Seattle with 450 number 41 and Scotch Ale. Question for Richard. What are your thoughts on the appropriate moniker for group? Is plural for Janus, Jani? I always say Jani. I mean, that's the Latin. That would be the Latin for things that are named Janus, right? I would assume. I would say Jani. That's what I call them as a joke. So good. Yes, correct. Russell Peters, Detlef 450, number 86 in Owensboro, Kentucky. Stablemates 1962 88 SS Norton Dominator, 1972 CB500, Honda 4, 1974 CB550 Honda, 1972 CB350, and he's drinking water. Good to see you, Russell. Multifarious is on. Yeah, we got all the characters on, all the Ramblers. Halcyon 250 number 1067, Kingfisher. What a great name, especially if you know your mythology. A wonderful name for a Halcyon. Man, I should have stolen that one. And sipping on tears of my enemy. Nope, just Coke Zero. Let's see some builds. I know. I will get back to the builds. I'm sorry, folks. It takes me way too long to put together the build photos. And so I have been lazy. Well, I've been busy, let's say that. And I haven't put them together. So we will get back to that. I've got to figure out a way to harvest that information from our production schedule and from the production crew in a faster manner. Otherwise, I spend my entire day preparing for this, which I know this is important and the most important thing, but I also have to build the motorcycles and do all that work. David Hyde says, David Hyde in Patterson, New York, enjoying my Halcyon 387 as the fall colors dissipate. Sipping a Cabernet Sauvignon. Nice. That makes it a little bit more full comment there. Semtex says, yes, builds please. Yeah, I hear you guys. I hear you. Jim 240. Good evening, all. Halcyon 450, number 240, Big Red, and Halcyon 450. You have two? Wow. Bucky, sipping on Blanton's. Ooh, nice. Blanton's in Lake Geneva. I have my wife's family is from Lake Geneva. I think we've had this conversation. I should know how many bikes you have. Jeff Brick. Jeff, a rum and Diet Coke. Good to see you. I don't recognize the name. Welcome. Keith Haywood says, recently took my 3rd annual autumn ramble. 3 days putting about Letchworth State Park. That's awesome. Cheers to that. Innate RAB says, Randall, 0.5 nautical miles west of the former Lindbergh Field, Portage, Michigan. Halcyon 250, number 567. He's drinking coffee. Dan says it's a Honda Acti is the model. Yes, okay, I know what a Honda Acti is. And I have drooled over them on Facebook Marketplace. N8RAB says waiting on Halcyon 450 number 331. Wonderful. Pete Marino is on in Kentucky. You're back in Kentucky with 900 miles on the sidecar rig. Great bike to cruise at 45 to 50 miles an hour. Yeah, that'll slow you down a little bit. How's the stability? Does it track pretty well? I'm very curious to hear. And yeah, love to learn more, Pete. Although I'm sure we'll see you soon. Confed Yank says, Forrest Gump voice, Janny E. Nice. Jeff Blind, our own fabricator's on. Jeff, the Janus senior fabricator, lol. Halcyon 250 number 87 in Elkhart, Indiana. About to work in my home shop, but the Ramblestream is on. Well, one can do both, right? A little something to sip on and a little work to do in the garage. I think that's kind of the perfect, I mean, apart from, apart from sitting in your armchair, like the logo, like my new logo. You like that? By the way, that's just an idea. Grant, our graphic design department has not had a chance to approve that logo. That's me messing around, kind of coming up with an idea, but I thought it was too cool not to show. But it's fun also to sit in a cozy armchair with your beverage and participate in the Ramblestream. But I can imagine that working in your garage is also a great place. Okay, let's pause because I'm going to use up all my comments here, and who knows, maybe no one will comment after we read our poem. So let's go ahead and pause there, and we will read a little W.H. Auden from my new book that I just got. I love these. This is the Everyman, the Everyman's Library. These little books, and they always, I don't know. There's something about. Take it out of the dust jacket. I have several different collections or novels or stuff in this, and they're just bound so well. I mean, it's a beautiful cover material, and then if you look at the binding, you can see it. A lovely binding, and they all have a little place marker. So they're just it's a tactile and wonderful experience, and the printing, the paper is really nice. They're really enjoyable to read. So anyway, enough about the book itself. Let's read a poem. The poem I have chosen today, and I'm going to put up a slide with this one. Or a, let's see if I can figure out how to do this. There it is. So this is one of my favorite paintings of all time. It just so happens. Actually, what was I just looking at with this painting? Oh, this was, I was thinking about actually making a version of this for the cover of the Rambler's Companion, or at least basing the cover for the Rambler's Companion on this painting. It's one of my favorites by Pieter Bruegel the Elder, but it's called The Fall of Icarus. And you can sort of see Icarus. If you know your mythology, I won't dig too deep into it. His little foot is sticking out of the water there, where he plunged after his prideful flight. Anyway, W.H. Auden, this poem is called Musée des Beaux-Arts. About suffering, they were never wrong, the old masters. How well they understood its human position. how it takes place while someone else is eating or opening a window or just walking dully along. How when the aged are reverently, passionately waiting for the miraculous birth, there always must be children who did not especially want it to happen, skating on a pond at the edge of the wood. They never forgot that even the dreadful martyrdom must run its course anyhow in a corner, some untidy spot where the dogs go on with their doggy life and the torturer's horse scratches its innocent behind on a tree. In Bruegel's Icarus, for instance, how everything turns away, quite leisurely, from the disaster. The plowman may have heard the splash, the forsaken cry, but for him it was not an important failure. The sun shone as it had on the white legs disappearing into the green water, and the expensive, delicate ship that must have seen something amazing, a boy falling out of the sky, had somewhere to go to and sailed calmly on. Fantastic poem, and I think we will be digging back into this more. More Auden will be headed your way. Okay, let's keep going. Cheers. Okay, we got some updates for y'all. Big news in the shop this week is that we've seen a changing of the guard here. Last Friday was our purchasing agent Jacqueline's last day with Janus. We're so grateful for all the work over the years that she's done. I know many of you have known and worked with Jacqueline, and we are so excited for what comes next for her, and want to wish her many thanks for all the great work she's done. The next big news is that we have hired a new, his official title is Director of Global Supply Chain for Janus Motorcycles. His name is Scott Ferguson, and we are very excited for what he's going to bring to Janus. He has almost 3 decades of experience in the power sports supply chain. So he started off working, this is so exciting, he started off working for Eric Buell in, I want to say 1997, maybe I'm correct on that, and then he worked all the way through to when Buell Motorcycles closed in 2009. I remember the day myself when we were thinking about things like this, and I remember his very touching video he published announcing the closing of a motorcycle brand, and it's always a reminder how challenging and how difficult it is, and what a momentous undertaking it is to actually found, run, and successfully operate a motorcycle business in the modern world. But since working with Buell, he has worked with, I'm not going to name all of them. He's worked with Milwaukee Tools in purchasing. He's worked with Briggs & Stratton. He's worked with Kuryakin, the motorcycle parts. And his last position was with Harley's Livewire company, or it was independent company, Livewire, in their purchasing area. So I want to wish a huge welcome to Scott, and I look forward to introducing you all to him. We're really excited for all the experience and the connections that he will bring and help us to take Janus Motorcycles to the next level. We have big plans, so exciting news. Other news that I need to cover for the sales and the marketing team: we are entering the season of crazy discounts and sales on Janus stuff. We have a 15% off merchandise sale going on, Black Friday sale. We're also selling calendars, our Janus calendars, and my understanding is that we have some customer submitted photographs that will be part of that calendar, so keep an eye out for that. If you have a photo in there, of course you need to order some, but getting ready for the next year. Of course, beginning with January, the month of Janus. We also have 50% off options on build your own Janus motorcycles. So if you order a new motorcycle from us, you will get 50% off of all options and upgrades. And last but not least, which is one that I really want to focus on, please take a look at our new inventory. We have some very cool specials going on inventory. For example, Halcyon 450 number 326, which is listed on the site, it's a spooky deal, a spooky good deal. Was $15,095. It is now $12,830. Do the math on that and you'll know that that's a very good sale price. These are some of the best deals you're going to get on a Janus, and each one is a little different on those inventory builds. So please check out our website, go to the motorcycles tab, go down to new inventory, and you will see a list of all the different inventory bikes we have right now. At this point, we have a 450 Origin number 261. We have a Halcyon 450 number 313. We have Halcyon 450 number 320. Halcyon 450 number 326. We have 250 number 1127. And Halcyon 450 number 295. In addition to those, we have the Fort Goshen specials going on right now in both 250 and 450. Those are our kind of military themed bikes. So please take a look at our website if you haven't lately. We got some new exciting stuff up there. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to some comments here. Confetti Yank says, designing the bikes and such is more important, right? Yeah, than the Ramblestream. Well, yes, I think it is, but the Ramblestream is something that I've just been really impressed with how many people come in and enjoy it. And so, and also how many people, this is part of their buying process. They want to know, Lo-Fi by Nature, when he was in, mentioned that really, you can go buy a lot of motorcycles today. And some of them may present, for some folks, a better value proposition than a Janus. They may be better known. They may have more aftermarket parts availability. They may have a dealer near you. But one of the things that really sets Janus motorcycles apart, and something that we focus on to an insane amount, is our customers and the community that you all form. And that's something that we create the medium, the motorcycles, but you all have gathered together around this, and there's so many of y'all that have multiple bikes. It's just amazing. So Lo-Fi by Nature mentioned that seeing the owner community was one of the big things that really drew him to Janus motorcycles. And so I think in addition to just the fun I have talking with y'all, this is kind of like an owner's rally that just happens on a regular basis. And you all know, if you've been to a rally, how much fun we have there. It's one of the highlights of my year. But this is, in addition to that, it's also a great way to share with people the fact that we have a community, and to build that community, to help you all to gather together around things. I know from my own experience, I'll talk about boats like I always do. When I was looking at sailboats, one of the things that I want to know is there an owner's community that's active around this? Because it's fun to sail by yourself. It's fun to ride your motorcycle by yourself, but it's also fun occasionally to gather around with other sailors and have a sailing rally like we did on my birthday in September. And it's half the fun, really. It also shows that if you have issues, you can ask people, like on our owners forums on Facebook or on the website. So, yeah. I love the Ramblestream. Long way of saying that. Joel Schumacher says, Halcyon 250 number 1038 in Coronita. Good to see you, Joel. Kyle Stevenson says he made it back. Great. Thomas Octavek, having an iced tea and lovely sativa. Nice. Hey, all kinds of libations. Confetti Yank says, I like the looks of Mitsubishi K trucks. Yeah. You're talking my language now. Randy Howell, Mentor, Ohio. I ride a Triumph Bonneville and a Harley Davidson Heritage, and I'm drinking milk. Owning a Janus is on my bucket list. Well, welcome. Confetti Yank, I got a chair like that, lol. Like the one in the picture, nice. Pete says, he's talking about his Halcyon 450, which he just had a sidecar fitted to by Texas Sidecars down in Texas. Kent Silk, if you have any questions, let us know. We can put you in touch. He says it handles fine at 45 to 50. I can push it faster, but it wears me out. 300 miles is a full day. Yeah, and that's kind of my experience with sidecars too. It's more work, but it's more fun. You can have your dog or your friend or your spouse or your kid right next to you rather than behind you. And if you think a Janus gets a lot of attention, just wait till you see it with a sidecar. It's a magnet. Mark Gallisel says, hi there. Well, hello, Mark. Martha Beeson. Martha here. What a lovely distraction on this November 4th. I'm drinking Japanese mint tea. Japanese because I discovered a Japanese beetle in the very bottom of my cup. Oh my God, it's good to see you, Martha. Martha is a dear friend of mine and my wife's. My wife is a sometime letterpress printer, and Martha runs a wonderful letterpress studio about an hour south of us. If you're not familiar, a letterpress is perfectly suited to this. Letterpress printing is how things used to be printed. It's a movable type. So it's basically exactly what Gutenberg invented over 500 years ago. Mostly nowadays we use metal type, or well, not nowadays. In the early 20th century we used metal type, although there is still wood type used, and it's a craft. It's a craft. You hand set the type. You have to memorize where the type is in the drawer. Really, that was one of my first things that I got into. My great-grandfather was a letterpress printer, a newspaperman in Richmond, Virginia, brought linotype printing from the north to the south, and ran a printing press his entire life. My grandfather picked up letterpress printing from him, ran a small job press out of his, as a boy, and I inherited his letterpress equipment and passed it on to my wife, who then went on to have way more letterpress equipment. It fills our life, our garages, our house, and it's a wonderful thing. Good to see you, Martha. Eric Green is on. Hey, Eric, late but here. Halcyon 250 Outlaw, Vancouver, Washington, drinking matcha. Good to see you, Eric. Arthur Nordby says, I was wondering about photos for Griffin 159, Little Black Bear, so I can start selecting the ones for 159's book. Yes. Shoot me an email, Arthur. Give me more details on what you're looking for, if you're looking for build photos or what you're looking for. Richard@janusmotorcycles.com. Send me an email, and I'd be happy to look into that for you. Confetti Yank says, man, and I've been excited to see Buell also coming back as a brand. Yeah, well, I've been excited to see Buell come back several times. Here they are now on our side of Lake Michigan. They're in Grand Rapids making motorcycles again. It's really exciting, always exciting to see them back at it. John Gorentz, good to see you, John. Yeah, you know what? It took me a couple of episodes to realize the red glow is actually your microphone and not a heater. Let's have another drink. Yeah, I've been told this microphone is sort of obnoxious, and it sort of is. It's sort of like a gamer's microphone, but it is the one we started with, and it's worked so far. Probably, if this becomes madly successful, I'll upgrade. What I'd really like is one that is on a boom so that it's right in front of my face, so you all get good audio. And so, as this becomes more successful, we will upgrade our equipment to suit. Confed Yank says, oh, I'm intrigued that Paul Sr. hasn't talked about his Janus. Yeah, I think I mentioned, did we cover? Yeah, I think we covered my trip down to Florida to meet Paul Teutul Sr. of Orange County Choppers. And we check out their social media. They are posting pictures of the upcoming episodes. It's called Orange County Choppers Reborn. It's kind of funny, that Janus Motorcycles would be teaming up with Orange County Choppers because it's a little different than what we do, especially if you're familiar with the old show. But I had a blast talking with Paul Sr., that is, and he has one of our bikes, and it's been featured in some of their social media. The episode in which we are featured will be coming out, if I'm understanding correctly, in February. They're still working out distribution on what channels it will be distributed on, but they have a pretty big producer, as you can imagine, and you will be hearing more about that. So we're really excited. When we were on Jay Leno and we were on other we got big press, it was really good for us. So we're hoping that this will be a great way to share the Janus story with more people who will be exposed to what we're doing. The episode that I recorded with Paul Sr. I think it was a really good one. He was genuinely interested in the questions that came up were great. We dropped off a 450 with him, and he was so interested. He goes, well, what do you ride? And I said, well, I ride a 250 number 68, and it's parked right outside if you want to see it. So he had me roll it in. So number 68 got some screen time with Paul Sr. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that comes out. We'll see how wild it is. Nothing was thrown. Nothing was thrown. Maybe maybe I should hope. Maybe some memes will be created because of it. We'll see. Okay. Confed Yank says, LARPing group I have been hanging out with may get them into becoming a sailing boats community. LARPing pirates? What do you LARP? Live action role playing what? Confed Yank. Charles McGahigan says, 1 fish, 2 fish, 1 Janus, 3 Janus. There we go. That's the plural. There we go. David Dixon. Hey, David. Cato, Wisconsin. Halcyon 450 number 266. Had a great summer of rambling about just south of Green Bay area, having a cold PBR. Wonderful. One of my things that I would like to on my bucket list of riding is Door County, Wisconsin. I've never been to the peninsula. I have my undergraduate. In undergrad, I had a lot of friends from Green Bay, Appleton, Brillion area, and I still do. I'm kind of thinking about maybe heading up that way for Thanksgiving. We've done that in the past. I haven't told him yet that I'm thinking about it, but Pico, if you're watching the Ramblestream, we may be heading your way. But yeah, I would love to ride up there. I've heard wonderful things. The bit of riding I've done is riding from Brillion to Elkhart Lake to the racetrack there when we had a demo day there, and it was beautiful. Twisty riding through some bogs and beautiful country. Agricultural country. Jim says, love the looks of these bikes, hanging out, enjoying the forum, drinking Pinot Noir. I'm a bigger guy. Would I look silly on a small-sized bike? Well, I don't know how silly you'd look. That's up to you. But I'm a big guy too. I am not necessarily big this way, but I'm big this way. I'm 6'6", 200 pounds. When I rode cross country, I was quite a bit heavier, and I don't think I look silly. No, we have, what I would say to really seriously answer your question is, our motorcycles are small bikes. They're more small this way though. They're narrow, simple, it's very much like a vintage motorcycle from pre-war, really, in terms of scale. And that's not even true. Up until the 70s, motorcycles were smaller. And they really fit into that category. Now, the one thing that, in addition to that, is that they were designed by someone who's 6'6", and so the ergonomics of the bike, in terms of how you sit, is designed for a big rider. Honestly, some of our shorter riders can can find it a little challenging with the bikes because they are scaled so large. That is something that we're working on. We've got some upgrades and options coming out for lowering the seat height and bringing the bars back. But yes, they are designed for a full-size American rider. I can say that with complete confidence. Ask anybody else here on the stream too, and they'll tell you about the scale. Dan says, do you remember the name of the podcast that was at the rally? The podcast. Oh, yes, I do, actually. The podcast that was at the rally is called Driven to Ride, and it's by Mark Long, good friend of mine, a good friend of Janus, actually. And so just Google Driven to Ride. He publishes, it's a really well-produced podcast, and it's going places. He's had the last guy he had on, not the last, within the last couple of weeks, he had Ryan F9 from Fort 9 on, and it was I listened to the whole thing. I think I listened to it twice. Ryan is a really interesting character, and Mark did a really good job in interviewing him. Look back at that. They've had some really interesting guests on that, including yours truly. Driven to Ride is the name of the podcast. Justin, our own salesman's on. He says, Richard is 6'7", just for reference. Well, I grow with reputation. No, it's just 6'6", but I am tall. Good to see you, Ryan, or Justin. Good to see you on. Justin Ryan. If you have any questions and you talk to a salesman, Justin is one of our salesmen. Confetti Yank says, I'm quite familiar with builds he does. Lol. It's vastly different from Janus style. Yeah, he's talking about Paul Teutul Sr. from Orange County Choppers. Orange County Choppers are like, how would I describe? Their builds are like, they're theme bikes. So they're like, you take a chopper kind of custom chassis and then you like decorate it to reference something. So he does like fireman bikes or veteran bikes or, and they're themed, like Tonka truck bikes or you name it, he's built some sort of themed bike. Very different from what we do. A lot of people confuse when I say I make motorcycles, or they'll say, you make custom bikes like Orange County Choppers? And I say, no, not quite. A little different. But it's a good platform. Orange County Choppers, a lot of our crew here have watched every single episode, even though it's different than what we do. Orange County Choppers, the original show, is no longer, ended, but it has massive viewership around the world. So, fun to talk to people about motorcycles and share the word. Fernando Urrutia says, I can't wait to get my Halcyon 250. Me either. Congrats. Fernando, where are you dialing in from? Tell us a little bit more. Confetti Yank says, but in saying that Paul Sr. seems to always to have passion for well-made stuff. Yeah, I think I've said it before, but my experience with Paul was so positive. He was so interested and knowledgeable about motorcycles. I mean, he was saying to me, he goes, oh, my first bike was he was listening to his early bikes, and he had old Japanese bikes and Nortons and Triumphs, and he knows motorcycles. And he really sees himself as bringing back something old. When he was starting to make custom choppers, that concept didn't really exist. So he kind of created this, what he sees as a renaissance of choppers, which I hadn't thought of it that way. Because when I think choppers, I think kind of like what he builds, and I see that as kind of mainstream. But I think it really was Paul and Orange County Choppers that popularized that style of motorcycle. And that style of motorcycle, it has its own place. It's not something you probably ride on a regular basis. They're not designed to be really a functional vehicle so much as they're supposed to be this art expression. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're definitely expressions, incredible things. Having seen several in the flesh. Jim 240 says, Richard, I have a vacation house in Door County. Beautiful rambling. Please visit. You'll love it. Oh, nice. Yeah, I bet. Confediank says that LARP is general fantasy, but one faction is Sea Lords, which is kind of waterworldish as a nation, hoping to get them into some small boats for hobby to relax. We joke sometimes that everything is LARPing. Whether you are a letterpress printer or a ham radio operator or a motorcycle rider, we all have our outfits that we put on and our codes that we abide by and our rules and our communities. I mean, everything in some ways is playing your all the world's a stage, right? We're all playing a part. Confediank says, well, rambling in boats, Slaw. Yeah, absolutely, man. Is this time for a... I'm always unprepared. Is this time for a plug of the Rambler's Companion? Thank you. A little advertisement here. If you're not aware, I wrote a book. It came out this spring. It's called The Rambler's Companion. It is a thin little tome that is a kind of a, I say, part manifesto, part how-to guide on lightweight motorcycling. But it touches on things like, we talk about things like boats, small boats, which are uniquely suited to rambling. Rambling is not an activity that is restricted to motorcycles or small motorcycles. It's something that I stole the word rambling from walking. It's an activity in England that people call rambling, is where they're not just walking, they're walking for the sake of walking and walking for the sake of preserving the ability to walk, because they're walking on private land, on ancient routes that are they have a common law in England which allows people to walk on private land if they've been doing it. So if you keep doing it, you preserve the ability to continue doing so. So it's really literally walking for the sake of walking, which is what we do on our motorcycles. We ride for the sake of riding. We don't ride, if you're rambling at least, we don't ride to get anywhere necessarily. We ride for the joy of it. Doesn't mean that you can't hop on the highway and go visit somebody or ride across country or whatever it is that you want to do, but rambling is like the distilled version of enjoying an activity for the sake of doing it. Multifarious says, you rode motorcycles on the Road America track. Actually, I didn't get to ride on them. We were there for a Porsche GT Cup, and we had a booth selling our wares, and so I did not get to ride on the Road America track, which would have been awesome. But I did get to experience it in the pits and check out a lot of really cool Porsches, new race Porsches. Innate RAB says, from 1918. What are you talking about? From what from 1918? Sorry. Innate RAB says 5'11" and the bike fits perfect. Yep. Talking about the scale of the motorcycle. Confediank says, one of the things that gained my interest is being a tad over 6 feet. I couldn't fit on 250s before. I have yet to sit on a Janus to confirm, though. Yeah, that's one of the things that I also talk about in the Rambler's Companion, that they shrink it and they make it cheap. And that's great. It's good to have inexpensive small bikes. It's good to have inexpensive big bikes too, like my KLR. But the downside is that people aren't making small displacement bikes for everyday use for everyone for a variety of price points. And one of the things that we do here is we don't make budget bikes, as you all probably know by now. We try and make them as affordable as possible, but we don't spare expense for the sake of being cheap or budget bike. We try and lavish them with every care and craft that we can. So if you ride a Rebel 250 or a modern small displacement bike, oftentimes, unless it's a dirt bike, it's really scaled down to be small. And it can be cramped if you're a big guy or girl. Spencer Anderson says, had to leave Lafayette this morning and ramble off to Boston. Just got back to Lafayette. Email notice on delivery from middle of November, Halcyon 250 number 1123. Very excited. Sparkling mineral water. Wonderful. Congrats. Lo-Fi by Nature says, I'm 6'3" and weigh about the same as my H250, lol. And I usually feel a bit cramped on most smaller CC bikes. And he knows something about small bikes too. Currently available. But the Halcyon 250 feels like it was made for me. Oh, awesome. Justin says, just offer a Springer front end conversion, lol. Yeah, right. Lo-Fi by Nature says, my hour ride home from the shop was very comfortable and the ergonomics were great. Thank you very much. Good feedback. Fernando Urrutia says, Panama City, Florida. Fantastic. Be more, 450 number 46, Phoenix number 42. Wonderful. He says, Phoenix, it is awesome. 46 is a beach cruiser. Yes, indeed. Kid Fed Yank inserts Yami Noob's rants about price of Janus he's never seen in person. He's referencing the infamous, what is the name of the video? This motorcycle shouldn't exist. No, Big Flop. Big Flop was the name of his video he made about Janus motorcycles. If you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to go look up the YouTuber. His name is Yami Noob. It's right there in this comment that's on the screen. Yami Noob. I'm not recommending you follow his content. He's kind of an idiot. But he did a video bashing Janus motorcycles, and we instantly knew it was a perfect hit for us to, not a hit. It was a hit on us, but also a hit for us because he has a lot of followers, and he perfectly described everything that we're doing. He just didn't like it. So it was a coup. It was a coup for us. Be more, 250 rides like a two-stroke. Nice. Suspension is excellent on both. Wonderful. Fernando Urrutia says, yeah, it's a must-watch video. Awesome. Thank you, man. Or thank Yami Noob. Okay. Well, I have promised you all that I'll do an options and upgrades update. We're running out of time and I'm not quite prepared. As I say, it's been quite busy. I will have a upgrades update. Upgrade for you all next week. We are back to a regular Ramblestream, and I will be doing more of these. I don't have guests lined up at this point. If you would like to share a story about your ramble, and you don't have to be on here for an hour and a half like some of these folks. If you want to just join me, tell a story about a good ramble you went on, send me some photos, and I would love to have you on the Ramblestream in the future. They're in the description of this video. Let me make sure I'm actually not, I'm telling the truth here. In the description for this video, down at the bottom of the description, there's a sign-up sheet. It's a Google form. Sign up there to be on the Ramblestream. And I will try and remember to check if I've had any submissions. So if you've submitted one in recent history and I haven't seen it, I will be checking. Okay, next up, couple more comments and then we'll sign off. B. Moore says, my brother just rode 46. He has a new Street Glide and he likes the Halcyon better. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. Cheers. Gary Smith says, you need to get a producer to produce your build segment. Well, I do, you're right. When we had the best ones going, it was when we had our intern James here, and James would spend an hour or two and put together the builds for me, and he did a wonderful job, and I miss having that. So yes, you're right. I need a producer. Right now I am producer, script writer, Rambler, script Rambler, and everything. So there you have it. B. Moore says, I sent photos to Mitch. Thank you. Ed Mirror. Ed here for third week, late this evening. Go Janus. Good to see you, Ed. And N8 RIB says, Janus bikes are a reincarnation from 1915 to 1920. Oh, I see your comment. Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, folks, it has been, actually, I'm glad to be back for a regular Ramblestream, just babbling with you all. So it's been a lot of fun. I've had a really good time this evening. I hope you all have as well. And I look forward to sharing a ramble with you next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Prepare your beverages, and we will reconvene. Confetti says, I'll help if I can. I'm loving the stream. Oh, Mitch is on. Hand wave. Good to see you, Mitch. Our other salesman is on. B. Moore says, agreed. People everywhere. I stop. Take pictures. Wonderful. Okay, folks. Thank you very much. It's been another great Ramblestream. I will see you all next week. Ramble on.